Hello, hello.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hello.
Hello, Chris. How you doing today?
Pretty good. How are you, man?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. Um, do you happen to have a camera?
I my camera's kind of messed up right now on this, so I have to get a new a new one for it. So
Okay, got you. Um, have you had the opportunity, just to make sure we're on the same page, to see like the video before this kind of call?
uh, yeah, I kind of went over. I originally booked this because I needed to just speak to one of you guys, like a team member or something,
Okay,
because I ended up going through the paywall and like accidentally like I guess got charged like $500 for it.
okay,
And I wanted to get because originally what I got the $9 one because it was like
okay,
on discount or whatever.
okay,
And then they said there was like a 192. It was like a discounted one for like 197. I mean, not 192, 197. And then whenever I clicked it to try to go to the next page just to see if like the total would be for all of it together,
hmm
it charged me $500 instantly. And I'm like, oh wow, that's kind of
okay. So, is the idea for you to get like the a refund or like because what's like what's your intention here? See how I can best help.
yeah. I honestly just wanted to get a refund and cancel the process for that. Like I wanted the other one, like the $9 one, and then
Okay.
I clicked through trying to go to the total page,
hmm
and and it ended up
Okay.
just instantly charged me. So I'm like, oh wow.
Okay, gotcha. So then in terms of like us and like what this call is originally designed for, you like have no idea, don't really give a shit. It's more so, hey man, like this accidental thing happened. Can we like reverse it?
Um, yeah, I would still like I still wanted to learn about it. Like that's kind of why I got the first one. The first one, the invisible whatever I
Okay.
forgot like the
Okay.
invisible affiliate.
Okay. Got you. How much, let me just make sure that we're both on the same page because I did take down a couple notes. How much about Michael do you kind of know, like how this process works, what this call is kind of designed for? Because the thing is like we do go over a lot of different stuff, and if there's some things that you don't quite get yet, I don't want to like go through everything because it's going to take us
Yeah.
quite a bit to go over that. So, in terms of Michael, like how familiar are you with him, like his background, like what he's been able to do, like just kind of give me an idea of where you're at mentally.
Just an overview. I kind of it was kind of new. I kind of found it today.
Okay.
So but I've gone through like a lot of his other videos and his social media posts,
hmm
and I kind of get the idea of like
hmm
the TikTok shop and stuff like that, and like marketing through
hmm
TikTok.
Okay. Okay, got you. So then for you in terms of this, what's kind of the goal? Like at the end of the day through us or doing the 197, what's kind of like the goal at the end of the day for you?
Um, Goal for me, it's like I wanted like because just to start over from the beginning. So I started on Instagram like doing like a digital like Instagram agency stuff,
hmm
and then I also tried my hand at like drop shipping for a while,
Okay.
and like I kind of just got I didn't see as much results as I wanted to at the time,
hmm
so I kind of just gave up and like just went back to like my regular job stuff. So
hmm
and it just now I'm just like at a point where in my life where I'm like, man, I'm tired. I just want to explore different things and like actually put the work in to actually do it.
hmm
Do
Okay.
some type of digital marketing or some type of digital like currency.
Mhm.
So
Has something kind of changed from the from the previous time? Because it sounds like you kind of went back to the job and that was okay, but has something kind of shifted for you that's been like, okay, let's try to get back into the digital space?
yeah, it was more so just like I was tired of like going through the same things with like just with physical. For one, it's just like I mean I run my own business now
Okay.
and I make decent money, but it's just not enough time for me to like manage other things in my life, you know?
Okay. When you say time, like what exactly do you mean? Like not being able to manage other things?
So I pretty much like I'm working for I'm using time. Like I'm making money from my time.
hmm
So like all the I don't make money unless I spend enough time doing the things I do now
hmm
with my business that I own. So
Okay.
it's like I want to change that to where it's like I'm not working using my time. Like I just want to be
Hmm.
able to make money and be
Hmm.
able to do the things I love.
Okay. So then what do you do right now? Because I know you mentioned you kind of have a business. It sounds like it's like, but you also mentioned you have a regular job. So what's kind of like the current playing field, so to speak?
So I have I completely stopped working at a regular job
Okay.
back in like earlier this year. But then
Okay.
I went full force with my business. So now I'm just like 100% my business. So
Okay.
I do two things. So I have a car detailing business.
Okay.
I do all the work and everything myself.
Hmm.
And then I also have a handyman business where I
Okay.
do like all the maintenance and fixing houses for people and like to have like I have like pretty much like a contract with like somebody that owns a bunch of Airbnbs in my area.
Okay.
So I do all that work for them and
Hmm.
I don't know, it's just a lot time
Hmm.
consuming.
Okay. So then in terms of this, because I'm not gonna pretend like this is gonna be like no time to put into it.
Yeah.
So I guess what is kind of like the thought process or like the time you would be wanting to put here? Because right now it sounds like your time is attached to the money that you make.
Yeah.
And it sounds like what you're trying to do is kind of detach that to have like a skill or an asset or something like that where you can make money but then not have to like have a direct one-to-one time exchange. Is
Yeah.
that is that right?
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Okay. Okay. So then for you right now, because obviously if you have car detailing as well as handyman, those are a couple different streams of income. Like how much do you need to be able to make to one, like scale back some of these other things or like remove them altogether?
Honestly, like probably like 3 to 5 grand.
3 to 5
So
grand?
yeah.
Okay, got you. And so then in terms of that piece, um, with this, because that is like something like this doing what we have here with Michael, it's definitely more than doable. Is there like a specific goal you're trying to hit other than like, hey, let's just like not have to have a direct time exchange for money?
Yeah. Is there a sorry, what was the question again?
So like how much money would you want to be making from something like what we have?
As in what I would need versus what I want?
Well, I know that for you, you need if you're gonna stop doing the car detailing or the handyman, you're gonna need 3 to 5K. Like
Yeah.
that just is what it is.
Yeah,
But
for
that's
sure.
just like to maintain. Are you like
Yeah.
shooting for a goal, or is it
Um
just time's the only thing you're really thinking about?
I'm shooting for I'm like I want the because I've had buddies that I've worked with over the years and like I've seen them like go on to be like really successful. It's like doing some type of online marketing or
Hmm.
some digital space. And
Hmm.
I want to shoot to where like I'm able to be able to just pretty much take care of the people around me. Like that's my lifetime goal is just to
Okay.
be able to have the
Okay.
time to spend, especially with my son. I have a kid, so
Hmm.
it's just
Okay.
yeah, that's the goal.
Okay. So then to make sure that what we have might even be able to help you, um, when you say take care of the people around you, obviously there's your son. And I know it can be kind of difficult depending on how many people you're trying to help, but like how much do you feel like you need to be able to make like on a monthly or yearly timeline to actually be able to take care of the people around you?
Um, on probably 10 to 20 between there,
Okay. Okay.
between that amount, because I mean it's not I don't have that many people, but I just like my
Hmm.
close like relatives and like
Hmm.
my son. That's it. Like I
Okay.
don't have to like spend all the money on them. I just want to be able to like do more for them than I am now.
Okay. When you say that, because believe me, like for me, I have a very big family. I don't know what your kind of like family situation is, but when I think about my family, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing, that's the big reason for me. And to me, what that looks like is being able to retire my mom and then also be able to help out my siblings when it comes to like things like college or like cars or that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I have a very clear reason and like have a numbers breakdown of what I need to be able to do for the people that I care about. So when you say take care of your family, that might look totally different than what mine looks like. So when you say doing more, I guess what do you mean or what does that look like compared to like right now?
Um, like you said, like I think that's a really good one right there. It's just I don't want my mom to be working forever. Like you
Right.
said, like that's one of the main factors.
Okay. Well,
Also
because
be
that's my
able,
goal. That's my
yeah.
goal. I'm not saying you have to have my goals, but
No, 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 no. I'm saying like that's part of the goal of taking care of people around me. It's just like
hmm
my mother included is I
hmm
I don't honestly don't like her working at all.
mm,
But yeah, and then being able to just do the fun things I want to do with my
mm,
child. Say I want to go on a trip somewhere and take him out, and
hmm
but I can't because I don't have the time for that. I just
mm. Okay.
um
How
I don't know,
much?
my being able to go see family because
Mhm.
they kind of moved out to a different state, and so I can't
Right.
go I can't go see them half the time because I'm most of
Okay.
the time I'm working
Where, out of curiosity, where do you live?
in California,
Okay. Okay. Where's your family located now?
out in Nevada, just Vegas. It's not
Oh,
it's not
okay.
that
So it's not too far.
it's not too far, no.
Okay. So then when you say like, because obviously if you're working, are you like how many hours are you working right now?
Um, on average,
Yeah.
I could probably clock in. I want to say I don't because things can take time. So
hmm
like I can put like an average maybe like 40 hours a week,
40
but
hours?
I'm not just working like on that aspect as well. Like I come home and do work as well. So it's like
Mm.
I don't know.
Okay. So then in totality, like the normal 40 hours plus whatever you have to do at home, like give or take, how much do you feel you are kind of putting in time wise?
Um, man, extra 2 3 hours a day.
Okay, so you're looking at a solid like 55-hour week, and that's
Y-
not even counting weekends.
Yeah, yeah,
Do you do
exactly.
weekends?
Yeah, I kind of it's kind of like on call half the time too. So it's like 7 days a week I'm working.
Shit. Shit. How long has that been like how long has this situation been going on for, do you feel?
Um, now, so probably since March or April. Yeah, since like April.
Okay.
Kind of when I went full time with this and I quit my other
hmm
job. I had a part-time job.
hmm Okay. So then for you, I guess where would you want to get to? Because 60 hours a week, man, like I get it. I still currently do that because obviously, like I mentioned, my goal is to help out the people I care about. So to me, it's worth it.
Yeah.
But for you, like being able to make 10, 20 grand and then actually have the time to spend with your son or with your family, like how much time do you feel like you actually want to have to give to the people you care about?
Um, man, if I could dial this back to like a few days out of the week
hmm
of my work week, like
hmm
that would save me a lot. Uh, like
Okay.
like
So
not even
we're,
just time, just like a mental capacity.
mm, okay. So let's say you went from the 60-ish hours you're kind of doing right now and you brought it down to like, let's say like 35 or like
Yeah,
40. Is that something that will give you the time and the capacity to actually spend with like your family?
definitely, probably, yeah, for sure.
Okay. Because ultimately, man, one of the reasons why we have these sorts of calls is number one, we don't just take anybody into what we have. That's the first thing. The
Hmm.
other thing is understanding is what we have something that's in alignment with what you're looking to do long term? Because I'll straight tell you if what we have doesn't make sense. I do know that we have people that are making 10 and 20 grand on like a monthly basis, what we have, and they're doing it with very little like time once they develop the skills.
Yeah,
Because essentially what you and I are talking about in like this online sphere is having a skill set that you're able to trade in exchange for money. The difference is like with a handyman, you're physically having to be in a location and fix like, I don't know what you do, like pipes or maybe that's more of a plumber's thing. Um, but this is like you can do it from anywhere in the world and your time is not directly related to the money that you can make from something like this.
yeah.
So for you, is this the type of thing where you're like, hey, Tommy, if this makes sense, this is something you actually would want to do, and maybe even in the short term have to add on to what you're currently doing so that you can eventually peel those other things away.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So then I know it sounds like you just recently ran across us though. So I guess why is it important that you kind of make this change now and actually learn this skill set so that you can start making like online income?
Yeah, because like I said, I've done so many different,
Hmm.
I feel like online or different courses. I've learned so many
Hmm.
different things. And I recently, like, I was talking to a buddy of mine about TikTok because
Hmm.
he does TikTok too, and
Mm.
he has like a TikTok shop, but he sells clothes, like
Mm.
his own personal
Okay.
clothes and stuff. So he was just telling me like the possibilities on it, and like
Mm.
I kind of did my own research, and then
Mm.
this pops up recently, and then I'm like, oh wow, like I need to I need to actually do it instead of just thinking about it all the time.
Right. Do you feel like that, like the thinking about it and not actually doing it, feel like that's maybe held you back up to this point?
Yeah,
Okay. So for you, fundamentally, that has to like shift. Like you have to change that sort of mindset to actually start getting the right momentum, start taking the right action steps so that you can not just learn the right skills, but actually be successful and make money in this capacity.
yeah, for sure, definitely
Okay.
does.
Okay. So then let's say, man, let's say that's exactly what we did. Let's say that we brought you in, we put you in a position where you learn the right skills. You're able to start, I'm not going to promise you it's going to be 10 grand overnight because I don't think you believe me, number one. And then I also don't want to set improper expectations. But we put you in a position where you're making 2K, 3K, 5K, 10K, and then month over month as you improve, it slowly increases.
Yeah,
You're able to actually cut back now on the car detailing business and the handyman, and you're also able to go see your family in Nevada, and or not in Nevada, should I say? Is it Vegas? You said?
yeah, it's Nevada, it's Vegas.
Okay, forgive me, I flunked out of geometry or geometry, geography. Um, and you're actually able to do that with your son. Is your son with you in California right now, or is he over in with the rest of the family?
No, he's back and forth. So he's here with me, and then his
Hmm,
mom actually just recently moved to Texas. So
really?
yeah. So we're that's another thing that I'm dealing with.
So is he, so is the, so then is your son bouncing between California and Texas now?
Yes.
Shit. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. So then for you actually being able to develop the right skills and make 10 to 20 grand at the end of the day, you feel like that's going to put you in the right position to not just take care of you, but provide for your son and then for the other people you care about.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay. Because honestly, man, and I always say this to people because it puts it in a good like perspective. The way I like to think about this and success in general is kind of like a mountain. Like all of our goals, dreams, aspirations, and for you specifically happens to be making 10 to 20 grand a month, being able to work much less than you are now, having the location freedom of something like this, that's kind of at the top. Like you're actually living your best life and are able to provide for the people you care about. That's like at the top of the mountain. And then where we are today is kind of like at base camp, where right now you're basically working two people's jobs. You're also having to have the headache of keeping track of, your son's mother, who now moved to Texas, which made things more complicated, and you're not able to spend the time that you want with your family. That's kind of like at base camp. And in the middle of that is the daily steps and the actions and then the commitment needed to actually climb that mountain. And just to be 100% transparent with you, man, like I can't make that climb for you. And no one actually can make that climb for you. And at the end of the day, whether or not you do those steps is a choice. And a lot of people decide not to make that choice. And it's a big responsibility too. Like for me, taking on not just my own situation, but also putting me and my family in a position to not have to worry about money ever again. That's a choice that I'm making. No one, like my dad didn't say, "Hey, Tommy, you have to take on that responsibility." Theoretically, I could goof off and go to like Brazil or something like that.
Yeah.
So that is a big responsibility for me. And I've chosen to take on that responsibility. I guess my question for you, Chris, is are you actually ready to take on that type of responsibility? And not just help you and your family really get to the top of the mountain, but actually do what's needed and if needed, sacrifice to make it so that's real. Like, are you actually ready for that level of responsibility?
I I definitely am,
Okay.
for sure.
Because the thing is, Chris, you actually don't have to. Like I said, it's a choice. And in fact, let me ask you this. How old are you?
27.
27? Shit. I just turned 27 today.
Happy birthday, bro.
Yeah, I know. Um, but the thing is that there's a lot of people just like us that decide not to do it. And instead, yeah, the 9 to 5 kind of sucks. Yeah, the doing multiple things kind of sucks, but it's not bad enough to make any sort of changes.
Yeah.
So for you, I guess, what does that look like? If, let's say, 6 months from now, or even a year from now, nothing changes and you just keep going on the current path.
I can I can say that I've put myself in and I've been in these positions before to where like I get very stagnant and
Hmm.
I feel myself not growing in whatever I'm doing, right?
Hmm.
And then I'll end up just like not sticking with it or like completely just being like just pretty much being depressed over it and like getting and
Hmm.
like just either getting bored or just moving on completely into something
Hmm.
else where I'm like, man, it's not working out. I need to figure something else out.
Right. But I guess what happens if that keeps continuing on? Like,
And this right now, what I'm doing, if this continues on, I
well,
think,
yeah, it seems like you've tried a variety of things, but it seems like it's the same story, just with a different thing
yeah,
every like 6 months.
no, yeah, for sure. This is probably the longest I've done something where like it's worked out and I'm like I'm okay, but I'm not where I want to be.
Right. So are you willing to settle for this to just keep going on and actually, like you mentioned, continue on just being stagnant or being depressed, kind of like what you mentioned?
Um, are you saying am I okay to continue doing this what I'm doing now?
What I mean is, are you okay like settling for not actually accomplishing your goals?
No,
Because
no, not at all.
because
Like
at
that.
the end of the day, whether it's drop shipping, whether it's IG affiliate, whether it's TikTok affiliate, like they're all just vehicles at the end of the day. It's
Yeah,
like the path to get the goal. So do you feel like now is actually the time to not just draw the line in the sand and guarantee you can get to the top of the mountain, but actually have the mental shift to do whatever is necessary to actually make that dream real?
I believe so. I think I am.
Okay. Because the thing is like you either are or you're not. And
Yeah,
I'm not saying you have to do it. I just know for me, I literally will sacrifice everything to make sure that I make this happen. And I'm not
definitely.
putting that on you in any way, shape, or form, but that's a choice that I've committed to. I've committed in front of my family. I've committed in front of the whole world. Like everybody knows. So there's no backing down for me. So are you willing to do not shouting from the mountaintops necessarily, but actually commit to doing everything you can to make that real?
Yes, I definitely.
Okay. Well, honestly, man, just to let you know, this is not how these calls typically go. Um, because This is more of a see kind of what the person's at, where they're at in terms of mentally, because with what we have here, I don't know what you've seen in terms of like our results, the type of income that people can make from this, but our system's dialed into a T. Like if people come in and they have that inner drive and that commitment to themselves, they are a success. The issue that we have ran into is just letting anybody in
Hmm.
and they don't have that inner drive. They haven't committed to themselves to do everything necessary to be a success. And it breaks my heart because they can be a success if they commit, but for whatever reason, like you can, it's like you lead a horse to water, but they don't want to drink for whatever
Yeah.
reason. And that's not something I can do. But for you, I feel like your reason's big enough and you've decided that you actually are going to do the necessary changes and do what's needed to be a success with this. So if it's okay with you, and it's totally optional, I can walk you through what we do, how we help people actually consistently make 5, 10, 20 grand a month using this process, and then some of the specifics that's involved in actually us helping you make that happen.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And basically, what we're going to cover is the Stay Viral Elite Coaching Program. Now, in terms of this, the reason why this is created, because I don't know if you know this or not, but Michael, he's 21 years old. When he was 20 years old, he was living in his parents' basement. He literally got fired from his job and he had no idea what to do with himself. And as a result of the skill set that he learned using TikTok and the affiliate program, he was able to generate multiple six figures using this process. And now he's doing is helping other people who are in a similar spot be able to do the exact same thing and help streamline the process A to Z. And this is literally the program he wished for himself, removing all the problems and the headaches that he had to go through to get to where he is today, where he's now making multiple six figures. And so essentially, these are the three pillars of how we help students actually be a success. The first pillar, and I don't know if you got a pen and paper, you may want to take down some notes as we go along, or if you have any questions, you can write those down too.
Okay.
But the first thing that we start with is with the elite content piece. Because as you know from things like Instagram and obviously drop shipping, there's the actual thing that gets eyeballs on the products. Now, the problem that a lot of people have when they start out is they're like, you know what, I'm just going to make any old random video, and then that's going to allow me to make money. But the thing is, there's a specific process and psychology behind the videos that you make that results in sales. And if you don't know what it is, obviously it makes sense you wouldn't be able to make as much money as you'd like. So what we start with ground zero is giving you that skill set so that you can not just make content that converts, but actually give you a skill set that you can take to different people in different places and make money with it. Now, on top of that, this is just an aside note. If you have this skill set and you're wanting to do a drop shipping store, you no longer need to worry about like how to get attention to then make sales because you now actually have the skill set that creates attention. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Any questions on that first part?
No, I was that was one of the things I was gonna, because I think I ended up getting the cap cut the video,
Mhm.
pretty much the elite content. I think there was like a top.
It's not exactly the same thing. Obviously there is some specific differences between the two. This is designed to be literally like because don't get me wrong, you can definitely have the cap cut, you can have all the other stuff like that, but there's a lot deeper of a process because there's the one that you got, and then this one's like the Mac Daddy, designed to help people really accelerate the process.
Yeah.
So this is really like for people that take this seriously and are wanting to get money as fast as possible. So again, not saying that the other one's bad because it's very good the way it's set up, but this is for people that are literally in the next couple months wanting to get to that 5 to 10 grand. So
Hmm.
there's a little bit of a nuance between the two. But so that's the first part that we want to make sure is rock solid. Now, the second part that's important is obviously the brand outreach. Because the thing is, let's say for the sake of argument, okay, I was able to make videos that now can make money. I need someone to pay me for it. And oftentimes you're in one of two buckets. One, you're like, you know what, I'm gonna go mention or I'm gonna go DM Nike or Adidas or something like that. And then they're gonna give me something where I can start making money. The problem, those are so big, you get lost in the inbox. Then the other side of it is, okay, well, let's not hit those brands. Let's hit smaller brands, the ones that will actually see it and want to have my skills. The problem with that is number one, you can't guarantee that they're one, even open to working with you. And number two, let's say they are open to working with you. They might not be profitable enough to pay you. And they'll be like, okay, I'll give you a free sample in exchange for all your hard work. And obviously, you're not here for samples, you're here to make money. So what Michael has done is he's gotten a Rolodex of 50 to 100 different companies that all are vetted from an earnings perspective, and he has connections with so that he can literally plug you straight into their ecosystem, put you on retainer, and start making money. And the reason why we have it set up this way is to remove all the hard work of needing to go out, go through literally 50 to 100 different brands to find one that actually can pay you and actually start making money, because that could take you anywhere from 3 to 6 months to do successfully. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
No, it does.
Okay. Now, the last thing that we really have is the private coaching component, because I don't know about you, but for me, the best ROI I've ever received is learning the lessons of being a success without making the mistakes. And the best way to do that is from people that have done what I want to do. So what we literally do is pair you one-on-one with people that have made six figures or more using this process. And as a result of that, you literally are one-on-one with them, and any questions you have, any feedback you need, they give it to you. Because our whole goal here is to get you to make money as fast as humanly possible. We're incentivized to help you make money. Now, on top of that, we have 5 group coaching calls throughout the week, and we give you a detailed roadmap for not just your content, but things that are going on. Like, for example, we're about to enter Q4. This is going to be one of the biggest Q4s ever for 2 reasons. One, obviously, that's when the holidays happen and people pull out their wallets more easily. But then the other thing, I don't know if you know this or not, Amazon now, as of like literally a couple weeks ago, has a direct connection on TikTok. Similar to the way TikTok Shop was, this is now directly off of Amazon. And what that means to you is that there's going to be more people that buy bigger items, which means you make more commissions off of it. So that's something that's recently happened. So if you're going to get in on something like this, now is the time, just because of us entering the biggest spending season in the entire year, and with all these different factors coming up behind it and enhancing that. Does that kind of make sense, man?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. Any questions on these pieces thus far?
No, pretty straightforward.
Okay. Okay. So then this is like the timeline in terms of what we expect slash what we set aside for people. Because we understand that people are working 50, 60 hours a week, and we want to make sure that we're being realistic with the time to allow you to be a success with this as well. So the first thing that we start with is, of course, getting you access to the content that's going to allow you to separate yourself from everybody else and start making money quickly, having the best of the best, all the lessons without the scars. That's week number 1. Week number 2 and 3 is when we immediately connect you with a brand and put you on retainer. Now, these retainers vary a little bit based on your experience and a couple of other factors, but you can typically see anywhere from 300 to $1,000. It does vary a little bit, just literally being on retainer and working with one of the companies we connect you with. And again, we help you with this. Weeks 4 through 8, that's where you're receiving personalized feedback to allow you to get good quickly. And then once you're good, that's when you start printing cash. And then obviously the last bit is, how do you start working with multiple brands and multiple avenues? And as a result of that, be able to have multiple different retainers and have passive income as much as you can rolling in while leveraging skill sets that don't require your time as much. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Any questions on like the timeline or anything like that thus far?
No, it all makes sense.
Okay, perfect. So then in terms of this, man, I'm just going to go ahead and pull this up. Just give me a sec while I pull up the right tab. But our process is very, very well dialed in. Like, and the reason why we screen people as hard as we do in the beginning is because we want people to be a success. So this is inside of our Slack, or not our Slack, should I say, our Discord, where people are literally posting all their wins and all the different things that go on with this. And so Ivanka right here, she literally is built and blew up this client account, 1 million views. She's getting paid on retainer as well as commissions and getting paid to grow the brand page itself. So she's having multiple streams of income with this piece. A couple of other people that are posting some wins. Here's 1,800 bucks over the course of a week, which that one was even like an older video. Here's some other things as well. So here's like 300 bucks worth of commissions, again, an older video. There's one guy in particular. Let me see if I can find him. His name's Joe, but literally he was a drug dealer or almost a drug dealer back in May. Oh, here's a Rolex. I think that's like a $17,000 watch. I'm not a watch guy. Here's another Rolly as well. But basically back in May, he was going to become a drug dealer, and he asked his friend for 3 grand, and his friend was like, "Nope, don't. You're not going to be able to do that. I am not a fan of this. You have to get your life together." And so what he basically did is he joined our program back in May. I'm trying to find the exact post. Give me a second. I think it's about here-ish. Oh, here it is. So he had a negative 110 in his bank account, and he asked his buddy to be a coke dealer, basically. And his friend was like, "Nope, you need to get your life together." And as a result of that, and him coming in, participating, and going as hard as he could, he ended up being able to not just get money in his bank account, but he was able to buy this sucker. Which this, I'm not like a car dude, but this is like a $75,000 car.
Yeah.
And this is just from the skill set that he learned. And this is August. So it wasn't a huge amount of time him getting that money. Here's another thing. This is over the course of a day. That's 1,300 bucks. Here's $1,000 retainer. Here's 4 grand over the course of a week. There was one that was literally, oh, here it is, close to 14 grand over the course of a week. So the reason I'm showing you this man is not to like be, oh my gosh, look how amazing Michael and everybody is. The reason I'm showing you this is because our process is dialed in. Like people that are willing to show up and do the work and do whatever is necessary to actually make things happen, make money. And they don't just make a little bit of money, they make a lot of money. So it's more so to impress upon you that the right people leveraging this process, especially with the upcoming Q4, they're going to be printing cash. So that's the only reason I show that to you, is because we know that we get people results. It's just a matter of if people want it bad enough to do the necessary steps to be that success. Does that kind of make sense?
No, that makes sense.
Okay. So then the last thing I'll go over with you is kind of like the couple of other specific things. So kind of like what you mentioned before, our whole goal here is to put you in a position where you're making 10 to 20 grand a month. Honestly, that's where Michael wants to take every one of our students. And the best way that we found is to shortcut it by having people that have done what you want to do guide you the entire way through, answer every question you have, give you as much support as you need to ultimately be a success. And then surround you with other people that are literally printing 5 figures every single month. Because sometimes we don't know what's possible until we see someone else who, honestly, I don't know if you share this idea, but if I see someone who I think is stupider than me or isn't as like good as I am at something, and I see them doing better than me, I'll be like, well, if he was able to do it, I sure as shit am gonna be able to do it.
Yeah.
So that's my mentality. And we want to surround you with people like that so you can be, okay, let's keep leveling up and keep improving ourselves as we go along. Now, in terms of this, our system is so dialed in, we have a guarantee of your success. If you don't make back the investment of actually working with us in a one-on-one capacity, we give you back your money. And there's 3 criteria for it, just to kind of let you know. The first thing is going through all the course material in terms of being a success, because if you're not using the right playbook, we can't guarantee success, which is why obviously we give it to you and encourage you to go through it entirely. The second thing is because we have a coach that's literally motivated to get you to where you're making money, we just ask that you respond to them within 24 hours when you're talking. That's it. And then the third thing is obviously we have 5 calls per week where we have coaches that are designed to really help you level up. I'm not expecting you to show up to all 5 of them, but I also shouldn't see you on 0 of them either. So
Yeah.
if you show up to 1, maybe 2, and again, they're all across in terms of time zones, that sort of stuff. If there's we highly, highly encourage it, and we would obviously want to see you at least one of them a week. Um, just because that's where a lot of really good sort of relationships as well as skill sets are developed. So if you do those three things, and for whatever reason, by the end of the 14 weeks, don't make back the investment of working with us, we give you back your money. And that's in writing. So that's that piece. In terms of, there's a couple more results and everything that's involved with this. As you can see, he ended up making 10 grand over the course of time on that account. Fed ended up going and making actually over 9 grand. And then Carl ended up making over close to $1,000 in the course of a day. And then, of course, Nick ended up making almost 18 grand as well. Now, everything that's involved with this, the price for it is 4K for that. There's a couple different ways we can do that depending on where you're at. We don't expect everybody to have it all in one go because
Yeah.
obviously we believe so strongly in this. We know that we're going to be able to make you money. Ideally, what happens is we get you in, however that makes the most sense. You come in, you crush through the material, and then we stick you on a retainer as soon as we can, because then you start making money quickly, and then as a result, it makes everything else easier moving forward.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Any questions on any of that thus far, Chris?
Yeah, just for like payment reasons.
Mhm.
I was just wondering because I could make the 4K within
Okay.
it would probably take me like a couple months to get that to you.
Okay. No worries, man. The biggest thing for me is not so much about like the logistics of how we make the money work, because that's the easy part. Like
Yeah.
the hardest, just being honest, the hardest part for me is being able to really understand the person. And then as a result of that, understanding why it's important for them to actually do the necessary steps to be a success.
Hmm.
That's the hardest part. I can't make that. I can figure out how to mess around with like back end money stuff. That's not an issue. It's the desire that I can't come up with.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you want to do this and you want to work with me, I'll find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
So for you, it's pretty much just like the financial piece that's kind of the stumbling block right now.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay,
That's
man.
what it is.
That's
That's
not
it.
an issue. That's not an issue.
Yeah.
So then I don't want to just like throw spaghetti at the wall and be like bloody bloody blah. The best thing that I've typically found is just to understand where you are at right now in terms of finances. And then based on that, see what makes sense for you. And if it makes sense for us, we can do it. If it doesn't, then we can figure out like a game plan moving forward on how we can get you in and start making the money to where you can eventually get to that 10 grand a month.
Yeah. Um,
So I guess just ballpark, I guess whereabouts are you right now in terms of like, I don't know, in like your checking account, savings account, what you actually have available, but that's not going to put you out on the street or make it so you can't take care of your son either, because I don't, that's not something I'm comfortable with.
no, yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I kind of I kind of got messed up today with
Hmm.
the $500 charge because
Okay.
I haven't put any money into my account really today, so
Okay.
I kind of like overdraft me.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Okay. Got you.
but
Okay.
because I was okay with the 197 at first,
Right.
and then
Okay.
I ended up
Right.
getting.
Okay. No, and we can definitely figure out the logistics of that too. Because obviously I know that you're serious about doing something like this. So I can definitely figure out the specifics of that. In terms of so that's obviously that situation. Do you have any sort of like, I don't know, do you happen to know like credit cards, anything like that? Do you have anything like that? Or is that, I guess, what's that situation look like?
Yeah, so I I I have I have money saved, but I usually
Okay.
keep it in my safe. I don't ever really keep money in my bank account
Hmm.
too
In your
much.
safe.
Yeah.
Do you have like actual like lock that you have to like unscrew and like you got like cold hard cash?
Yeah.
Okay. Damn son. Okay. That's definitely not an issue. Okay. So then in terms of that piece then, roughly speaking, I'm not going to say like do the whole thing in one go because I don't think that would make the most sense. But I guess roughly speaking, in your little safe, like how much do you have?
Um, right now, probably because I just like I said, I just recently got a new place. I
Mhm.
got and I invested into I've been reinvesting into my company as
Of
well.
course.
So
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, I get that, man. I get that.
yeah,
I mean,
I
In
think right now, probably what I have in there now is probably like it's not that much. It's probably like 2.5 grand.
okay, okay, no worries, man. Um, cool. And then in terms of like, do you happen to know what like your credit score is?
My credit score, I crashed out my credit. So
Okay. Is it like what, like 500 or something like that?
yeah, it's low. It's pretty low.
Okay. Okay, no worries, man. The only reason I ask is to see how many different ways we can potentially make this work,
Yeah,
um, or what have you. So then here's what I'd say, and this is something you are wanting to do.
definitely.
Okay. Okay. So then here's what I recommend. If you'll hear me out. So I think the first step for me is to talk with the team and then get that situation with like the initial one you did figured out. I think that's step number one, which I can definitely talk with the team about that. Um, Step number two is obviously putting you in a position where obviously you're not having to put yourself in a hole, but then also get you started.
Hmm.
So what I think would make the most sense is if I were to break up the 4K into four payments, so it'd be 1,000 and then it'd be after 30 days, et cetera, et cetera.
Hmm.
If I was to break it up like that, and then we have a scheduled time to actually get you on board and that sort of stuff, then what you could potentially do is take maybe like part of the 2K, and then obviously you'd have it in your bank account at that point, and then we can just go ahead and get you set up at that point, and then you get access to everything. You'd be working one-on-one with people, and then obviously you'd have more time. And by that point, we would put you on retainer, which
Yeah.
then means that you would have that snowball effect, so to speak.
No, yeah, for sure. That honestly, that sounds really good.
Okay. Okay.
If we
Perfect, man.
can, if we can do like you said, the start out with 1,000
Yep.
and then work from there. And like I feel like you said, you guys are guaranteeing. It's pretty much a guarantee with you guys. You guys done it
Of
already. You
course.
guys,
Yeah. We
so
we because at the end of the day, Chris, just being 100% transparent, like our stuff works. The
yeah,
problem is if people don't work.
yeah. People don't want to
That's the
do it.
issue. If people are lazy, that's the issue. And it's so hard for me personally to see people have these big dreams and then like for whatever reason there's some bullshit that goes on up here that literally sabotages them. That's the hardest. Like I literally and this is kind of goes beyond the scope of this conversation, but there's a guy I talked to out of Texas. I think it was Houston. Um 45 years old. He was promising his wife that he was going to retire her. She's literally like funding his existence. Like he's making, or she's making like 80 grand a year. He makes nothing. And I was like, bro, like you have all these goals for her. You have to make 200 grand a year. That's what you have to do. And then he bitched out. I'm like, so you're literally signing the contract that your wife is going to have to work for the rest of her life to save your sorry ass.
That's
Like
crazy.
that pissed me off so much. That's the thing that I'm like, ugh, because our stuff works if people are
Yes.
willing to do it. But if you're someone like that guy, like you could give him a freaking, you could give him a business in a box, and he would still find a way to fuck up.
Yeah. No, that's insane.
Sorry about that. That's kind of beyond the scope of this conversation. But for you, man, obviously, this is something you want to do. I'm more than happy to go ahead and begin the process of getting you set up with it. And then we can just schedule the actual like onboarding time, and then
Hmm.
I can get you set up from that point.
Okay.
That good?
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds good.
Okay. So then just for the sake of my sanity, um, in terms of I need some like specific like pieces of information.
Okay.
Um, and then we can kind of go from there. So for you, is the best email the one you booked this call with?
Yeah, that one works.
Okay. Just let me just double check to make sure I've got it right. It is bring me, is that bring me
BTC.
Bitcoin?
Yep.
I love that, man. I love that. Okay. Hell yeah, man. Sign me up for that. Cool. And then it is, I know it's Chris.
Yeah, it's Chris Cunningham.
Cunningham.
Yep.
Chris Cunningham. Okay, cool. And then in terms of the next sort of steps, do you have like a Discord already, like an account already, or no?
Yeah, because Michael said to bring a ticket to the Discord, so I found the Discord to join.
Okay, okay, perfect. That's the only thing I need to really kind of understand. Um, cool. And then in terms of, 'cause I know that I'm gonna have to figure out the situation with the 197 versus the 500. I'm gonna have to talk with the team about that. Um, but in terms of the card eventually you are wanting to use, I guess what are the, just so I kind of have it, we can streamline the process. What is that? I'm not
Okay.
going to charge anything today,
Yeah, I can.
because it
Hold on.
doesn't make sense. But
Yeah, I can give that to you. It's 55462.
5462.